So in this sequence, we're going to work on Bird of Paradise, or as Jesse Shine, who's also on this site, and I call it BFP. It's a pose that seems really complex, but it links really well to a couple standing poses. You're going to go slowly. It's a huge hamstring, especially the external portions of your hamstring and your IT band opener, and it's not worth the health of your hamstrings to accomplish the pose. So go slow, and one day, then they'll be open enough to do it with straight legs. All right, here we go. Janice, full thing. Nicole, modifier. Lie down on your back. You won't really need any props. You're going to start in Shavasana. Arms wide, legs wide. And every time you get into Shavasana or into whatever pose you begin class in, it's just a moment to connect to your breath and to assess what's happening in your body, your energy level, any injuries or tightness that you have. You make notes of those, and then you move through practice knowing that at the beginning, you feel one way. At the end, you want to feel better. That doesn't always mean doing everything. Sometimes it means taking care of yourself. So connect to your breath. Make it smooth and fluid. Let the duration be longer than it was when you got to your mat. And then try to settle your mind on the sound. It can be the sound of Ujjayi or just the sound of steady breath moving in and out through your nose. All right, here we go. Hug your knees in and set up into happy baby. So flex your ankles, grab the outer edges of your feet, and stack today your ankles directly over your knees and have your knees and feet fairly narrow, kind of just towards the sides of your body. Right, then collarbones wide, low back flat onto the mat, and tailbone reaching to the front of your mat. You're going to hold your right leg as it is, let go of your left foot, and put the foot on the floor like it was doing a bridge pose. Okay, knee faces straight up to the ceiling. You keep flattening the low back down, tailbone to the front of your mat, collarbones wide, and then right knee, you're pulling it down towards your outer shoulder from there. Okay, if that's enough, you're going to stay here. Nicole's going to stay. Otherwise, you can straighten your left leg out, start with it a few inches up off of the mat, flex your ankle like you were standing on the foot, and then depending on the shape of your hip and the openness, you may or may not be able to bring the heel all the way down to the floor. But treat that leg like it's a mountain pose leg. Right now, you're going to stay with pretty much everything as it is, collarbones wide, and then without rotating your hip at all, without doing anything fancy with the leg, you're just going to start to straighten your right knee a little bit. Okay? Don't go nuts with it at the beginning. There will probably be some opening or some sort of sense of sensation in the outer edge of your right hip. That's kind of what you're looking for. If you don't find it, don't press harder to look for it. And then this is pretty much the final pose. It's just not bound, and frankly, you're lying down, so it's easier. All right, good. Bring yourself back into full happy baby. So pull the left thigh back in, grab the outer edge of the foot. We'll do the other side. So flat, low back on the mat, collarbones wide, upper back, you're letting the mat press it in like you were leaning back into the floor. Keep your left leg like this, either right foot on the floor like a bridge pose, or straighten your right leg out, flex the ankle, toes to the ceiling, and then descend from the top of the thigh through the heel until maybe the heel hits the floor. Good, right? That same thing. Chest stays wide, tailbone to your right heel or towards the front edge of your mat if you're Nicole. And then slow motion. Your hips and your hamstrings are different from left to right, so this might be your tighter or looser hip. You'll start to straighten your left leg out somewhat. There'll be kind of this moment where it's like, oh, it might want to go to the side, it might want to come in. Just send it in the exact same direction as your thigh bone has been the whole time in happy baby. Good. All right. And then bring yourself back into full happy baby. And then in this happy baby, if you want to pull the knees all the way down and round your back or do any of that sort of thing, you can. Or rock side to side like this. All right, now hug both of your knees into your chest. Rock up just to seated with your feet on the floor. All right, and then from here, you're going to lift yourself up into a hanging forward fold, separating your feet wide to the edges of your mat. Okay, keep them parallel with one another. Put a generous amount of bend in your knees so your chest touches your inner thighs, and then grab your elbows. So both of these ladies are very bendy in their hamstrings. That's not a benefit or a negative. It's just how it is for today. So if you're not like this, bend your knees a lot more than they are. It's perfectly fine. You're looking for a length in your torso. Let your elbows feel heavy. And then you'll start with some of the actions for the final pose right here. You press your feet down evenly. Knees bent or straight doesn't matter. And take your chest through your inner thighs, like I was pressing a hand into your upper back between your shoulder blades. And then release your arms down. Wiggle your feet together until they're hip distance apart, but still parallel with one another. Now interlace your fingers behind your back and stretch your arms over and away from you. As your legs get a little warmer and more ready to be straight, as your hamstrings open, you can start to lift up through your thighs, taking your kneecaps up towards the fold in your hips. Press your whole foot down evenly. Send your inner thighs to the back of the mat and hug them together. And then keeping your shoulders up away from your ears, take your arms up and over a little bit further. Good. All right. And then from here, release your arms down. Inhale, pull your chest forward, look forward. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And with a flat back inhale, bring yourself all the way up to standing. Okay, join your feet together, join your hands together in front of your heart. And lift up through your chest, drop your tailbone down. Inhale, reach your arms out to the side and up alongside your ears. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, look forward at the front of your mat. And then exhale, step yourself just into plank pose. Once you're in plank, belly draws in, legs straight like they were in the forward fold if they were straight. Heels drawing back. Okay, take an inhale, shift your shoulders beyond your wrists slightly. Exhale, lower yourself halfway down into Chaturanga. Pause, take an extra inhale, collarbones wide. And then exhale, lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. And move your hands back so they're next to your floating ribs, wrists under your elbows. Uncurl your toes. Have them your feet, I can't talk today, hip distance apart. Press your toes away from you. And then just a low cobra to start with. So inhale, pull your chest forward, peel it up off of the mat and widen your collarbones. Good. Exhale, lower yourself all the way back down. Make sure your hips stay glued to the mat. Inhale, pull your chest forward, lift it up. Good. Exhale, lower slow. And one more time, inhale, cobra pose, pull your chest forward. You're always welcome to stay here. Otherwise, on your next inhale, straighten your elbows all the way out and come into upward facing dog. And press the floor away from you and widen your shoulders. Once you have that, again, think of that idea of your upper back, like I was pressing a hand in between your shoulder blades, moving into your body to widen your collarbones a little further. Good. And then exhale, roll up and over your toes into your first downward facing dog. And once you're in this down dog, you can pedal your feet back and forth if you like, or you can just hold totally still, and whatever you feel like you need for a moment. And then come to your hands, press them firmly and evenly down, roll your outer arms down, squeeze your arms together. Same idea, upper back moves into your chest. Press your thighs back and draw your heels down. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. Exhale, pull your right knee in towards your chin, round your back, and push the floor away from you. Look forward at your hands and step your right foot all the way through. Lower your left knee down, uncurl the toes, shift your weight back and straighten your right leg out. And flex your right ankle so your toes face the ceiling. You can just have your fingertips underneath your shoulders, pulling your collarbones wide. And then if you can keep length in your spine, so what in essence looks like a flat back, and fold further, go ahead, fold further. If you can't, then just stay up on your fingertips, it's fine. Good. Couple of breaths. Inner thighs, they get a little hug together here, so your hips stay neutral. Good. Okay, and then come back up onto your hands, press yourself back into plank pose. Exhale, lower slow, chaturanga. Inhale, go straight back up to plank. And exhale, pull back into downward facing dog. Inhale, glide forward into plank. Exhale, left knee in towards your chest, round your back. Look forward, step your foot through. Lower your back knee, uncurl the toes, shift back, left leg straightens. And again, high on your fingertips, wrap your outer arms back, pull your chest through your upper arms, right between the shoulder blades, the whole time, like I had a hand pressing there to continue to lengthen your chest forward. And then if you can hold that shape in your spine, fold. If you can't, stay high, perfectly fine. Keep your back toes spreading, the top of your foot pressing into the mat. Good. And then put your hands back under your shoulders, press into plank pose. Exhale, lower slow, chaturanga. Inhale, push up, plank pose. Exhale, pull back, down dog. Right. Look forward at your hands, walk or hop your feet all the way up in between them. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way back up with your arms alongside your ears. And exhale, hands together at heart center. Right, we're going to flow through 3 A's. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, look forward. Keep your gaze forward. Exhale, step to plank. Inhale, shift forward, shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, bend your elbows. Flip your toes. Inhale, up dog. Keep your knees up off of the mat. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold, downward facing. So look at your heels. Make sure they're always behind your second toe. And then when you have that, whole front leg, send it towards the back of your leg so that your sides of your body lengthen. Draw your heels strongly down into the mat. Don't worry if they touch or not, but pay attention to that effort of the heels drawing down. You'll need it a little bit later. Okay, look forward, lift your hips, bend your knees, walk or hop your feet forward. Feet together, inhale, chest wide, and exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing, arms up again. And exhale, hands together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana and fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk, or if you hop, go ahead, chaturanga, hop it. Inhale, back bend. And exhale, push the floor down, shift, down dog. Firming your outer arms in. Get the weight into your inner hand as you roll the outer arms down as well. A little faster this time. Look forward, lift your hips and hop or step. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, hinge from the crease of your hips. Inhale, come up to standing again. And exhale, join your hands together. Last time, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, chest forward and down. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, through a vinyasa to downward facing dog. Very nice. Right, from your downward facing dog, inhale, glide forward into plank pose. This time, exhale, bring your right knee to the back of your right arm. Good. Okay, once it's there, shoulders stay square to the floor. Just a little bit of your upper back moving into your chest today so your collarbones widen out. Keep pushing the right hip back towards your left heel, but then fold at your right hip crease, bringing the knee to your outer shoulder. Now bring your knee to your nose, round your back. Step your foot through again. Move it off to the right a few inches. Bring your hands to the inside of your foot. Turn your right toes at a 45-degree angle. Good. Now from here, Nicole's going to drop down to her knee, and then she's going to drop down to her elbows. You're free to stay on your hands if it's too much to go to your elbows. Janice is going to go to her elbows from here. Okay, you're going to flex your right ankle a lot so your toes pull towards your kneecap, and then you can let your right knee fall open to the right side slightly. Okay, if you're in this version with your knee up, keep driving back through the heel, thigh pressing into your hamstring, and then collarbones wide through your upper arms today. Good. Gorgeous. I love this stretch. I wish I was doing it right now, but I'm not. Good. Okay, bring your knee back to center first. Plant the foot. Turn the toes in. Okay, come back up onto your hands. Lift your back knee if it's still on the mat. You're going to spin your back heel flat. Line up heel to arch. Right hand will stay on the inside. You can put a block under your hand if you need, and then turn your chest open into side angle. Left arm, take it straight up to the ceiling from here. Okay, firm the floor away from you with your back foot. I want you to treat that foot like it was in mountain pose. Center of the heel, pinky toe edge, and then engage your quad muscle, lifting the thigh up. And then from here, draw your right hip towards your left heel so it moves under your body. You can nudge your shoulder into the inner knee. As you do that, widen your right collarbone. Good. And then reach up through your left fingertips, turn your top palm towards the wall behind your head, and take the half bind. The hand can come to your outer hip or to your inner thigh. Right? Now you're pretty much in modified bird of paradise right here. From your left heel through the crown of your head, one straight long line. You're rolling your inner right thigh to the ceiling, squeezing your shoulder and your inner knee together, keeping the weight in your right heel. Good. And then take your left arm up to the ceiling, look down, and inhale up into Warrior Two. Reach your arms to the sides. And then it's pretty much the same thing all over again here. Push the floor away from you with the outer edge of your back foot. Press your right heel into the mat. Square your collarbones off. Reach your arms wide apart, and then just like I was pressing my hand between your shoulder blades, let that part of your spine move in to lift your sternum up. Keep dropping your tailbone and front ribs down as you do that. Good. One more breath. Bend into your right knee. Keep your right hip point lifted off of your thigh bone. Good. And then exhale. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Step back to plank and take yourself through a vinyasa to downward facing dog. Very nice. Good. All right. From here, inhale, glide yourself forward into plank pose. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Right? Shoulders square, back leg, just like you were standing on it. Same thing that we're going to repeat over and over. Collarbones wide. Climb the left knee higher and higher as you drag your left hip a little back towards your right heel so the side body stays long. And then draw your knee into your nose, round your back. Set your foot between your hands, move it to the left, hands to the inside, down to your elbows and back knee if you're doing that, or down to your elbows if you're not, and then turn the toes at a 45. Flex your ankles strongly so your toes pull back towards your knee and you can let it fall to the side. If this ever feels like anything in your knee, it's not worth it. You can just keep the foot strongly planted into the floor. Right? And then I swear, your back toes are not nearly as interesting as you think they are. Look forward and pull your chest through your arms. Neither one of them were doing it, but I know one of you was. Good. All right. And then from here, if your knee is down, lift it up, come up onto your hands, turn the toes square to the front of your mat again, spin your back heel flat, line up heel to arch, leave your left hand on the inside, and turn open into side angle with your hand on the inside of your foot. Okay, and then you're already there. This is the final pose, just kind of in a different shape. So back foot, center of the heel, outer edge of the foot. It's important here. Thigh muscle engaged, inner thigh pulls up to the ceiling. And then left heel stays anchored. Move your left hip under your body, hip knee facing straight ahead. And then widen your left collarbone as you lean your shoulder and knee together. Right? Roll your chest open, stacking your collarbones. They'll be square with the side wall. Turn your top palm towards the wall behind you, and then half bind behind your back again. Good. You can go the outer hip or the inner thigh. It doesn't really matter. You're just looking for that idea of getting your collarbones stacked, square, wide, your upper back moving into your chest, the tailbone to your right heel, and a strong anchored back leg. Good. And then stretch your right arm up, look down, push your left heel down, and inhale, bring yourself up into warrior two and hold there. Good. Okay, once you're there, back leg, firm it straight, glue the right foot into the floor like it was doing mountain pose, left heel strongly anchored, hip, knee, second toe facing ahead, okay, and then square your collarbones off. Reach through your fingertips. Get your collarbones to feel like they're widening all the way out to the edges of your hands. Same with your upper back, into the chest. Then front ribs drop, tailbone drops. Really good, you two. It does look good. Be proud of your work. Those are lovely. Right, one more breath. And then hands down to the mat and through a vinyasa to down dog. Ooh, just giving yourself a chiropractic adjustment over here. Take an inhale through your nose and open your mouth. Exhale, let it go. Good. All right, look forward at your hands. Hopper step your feet up. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, fold at your hips. Inhale, come up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, join your hands together. Right, step yourself wide to the side of your mat. Feet, good amount of distance in between them so that when you extend your arms, they pretty much feel like they're underneath your wrists. Feet parallel with one another. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Lift your thighs. Inhale, lift your chest as well. And then exhale, fold yourself up and over into Prasarita Padottanasana C. So as you fold, every bit of weight goes back into your heels, so shift forward into your toes until your feet feel evenly anchored again. Lift up through your thighs. Roll your inner thighs towards the wall you're looking at. Hug them together. Keep your shoulders fairly up against, fairly up, that didn't make any sense, up away from your ears. Upper back moves into your chest here to widen your collarbones a little further. Good. All right. And then if you can press the heel of your hand together, you can go ahead and press it all the way together for the last couple of breaths. All right, and then press your feet down. Inhale, bring yourself all the way up to standing. Outstretch your arms, and exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat. Mountain pose, feet together, hands at heart center. We're just going to flow through a couple of B's just to build a little extra heat. So inhale, drop your knees, drop your tush. I can't talk. Reach your arms up for chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, straighten your legs. Inhale, chest forward, look up. And exhale, chaturanga, walk or step. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, roll up and over your toes into downward facing dog. Step your right foot all the way through to your hands, spin your back heel down. Inhale, a breath up to warrior one. Nothing specific, just a straight back leg today. And then exhale, hands down and through a vinyasa to down dog again. Okay, and then once you're here, left foot, step it through, right heel down. Inhale, warrior one. And then exhale, hands down to the mat, step back, lower slow. Push your hands down to lift your chest. And then exhale, back, down dog. Just 3 breaths. Pay attention to if your arms start to do all of the work, add the legs, thighs back, kneecaps will lift from that. And then look forward, walk or hop. Inhale, collarbones wide. Exhale, keep them wide and fold. Inhale, sit back, chair pose, got it right this time. And then exhale, press down and stand and join your hands together. Right, one more time, sorry, B. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, press back, downward facing. Right foot between your hands, back heel at an angle. Inhale to warrior one. And then exhale, bring your hands down, step back. Belly in as you lower. Inhale, reach the toes away from you. Exhale, press back. Last side, left foot, bring it forward, right heel down. Inhale, rise. And then exhale, vinyasa, all the way back to downward facing dog, and then pause there. And then hold in this down dog, steady breath. And finish this one all the way out today. Now look forward, hop or step. Inhale, thighs back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit back, arms overhead. And exhale, stand and join your hands together, mountain pose. All right, from here, we're going to step wide and do triangle pose. So step your left foot back. And then once you're there, you can start with your feet parallel with one another, arms outstretched to the sides. From in your hip socket, turn your right toes to face the front of your mat, spin your back toes in slightly and line up heel to arch. Right. Now, from here, get the sides of your waist to feel even. Back leg, engage the thighs so your knee is straight and press your foot into the mat. Now you're going to hinge. So start to reach for the front of your mat. Tilt your pelvis, send your tailbone towards your left heel. Reach, reach, reach. Turn your collarbones until they're stacked, and then put your right hand down and your left arm up wherever it lands. It can be on your shin, it can be up on your thigh. You're looking for an evenness in the sides of your body. That's the most important thing here. Press the outer edge of your back foot. Make sure that leg still feels like it's going to in the final pose. Add a little extra weight to the ball of your right foot, especially the inner edge. Keep that and roll your right hip under you by sending the inner thigh to the ceiling. Right? And then press your left side ribs into your body like you're doing a mini crunch on this side. It'll extend your right side ribs a little further. Right? And then you're folding at this crease of your hip. Upper back moves into the chest like we've talked about to widen your collarbones, and then really stretch your arms apart, especially the right collarbone. Reach away from you so that one widens out. It's the same thing, we're just going to add balance to it, which you need in the final pose. So look forward, bend your right knee, move your hand out beyond your pinky finger or pinky toe underneath your shoulder, and lift your back leg up. It's one of those days where just everything I say is a little funny. All right, flex your left ankle. This foot is still like you were standing on it. Reach through the center of your heel. Little extra weight to your inner right foot again, and then roll your inner right thigh to the front of the mat. Then press your left side ribs into your body to stretch the right side waist, upper back into your chest, and that same idea. Press the floor down with your right fingertips, reach through your left fingertips so your collarbones and upper back get broad. Good. Okay, now look down, put a bend in your right knee, keep the hip underneath of you, step back into triangle pose, go slowly, methodically, take an inhale, exhale, and then inhale, bring yourself up to standing, reach your arms apart, and then bring your hands down to your hips for a moment, turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out, and you're going to set up into triangle on the other side. Reach your arms to the sides once you've set up, heel to arch, and then from here, hinging at your hip, fold into Trikonasana. And then once you're there, you know you're going to bird of paradise. So the back leg, it's going to be the one you're standing on. Press the outer foot, the center of your heel. A little more weight into the inner edge of your left foot. Spiral the inner thigh up to the ceiling. And then press your right side ribs into your body. It's this little bit of a crunch that'll happen in the side of your waist. It'll stretch the left side a little further. Send your left hip crease towards your right heel. Upper back like I was pressing my hand in between your shoulder blades, and then really reach the collarbones away from one another. Now look down, bend your left knee, move your hand beyond your pinky toe, and lift up into half moon. Right away, once you arrive, flex your right ankle, line up your heels, make sure the top leg is straight like you were still standing on it. Left inner foot gets the heavy part, inner thigh to the back of your mat, hip squeezes in, sides of the waist even. Turn your torso open, stack your collarbones so they square with the side wall. And then when you have that, reach down with your left fingertips and up with the right so both sets of collarbones widen. Really nice. Good. And now from here, look down, put a bend in your left knee, go slowly, step back into triangle pose for a cycle of breath. Take a full inhale, full exhale. And then look down and inhale, bring yourself up to standing. Stretch your arms apart, turn your back toes in, and exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, mountain pose. Right, so we're going to put kind of two poses together, and it's pretty much the final pose, and then we'll do the final pose in a moment. So we're going to start with tree pose. Bring your hands down to your hips, shift the weight into your left foot. You're going to pick your right foot up and put it to your inner thigh. If you cannot get it all the way to the inner thigh, keeping your hips level with the floor, you can put it to the inner calf. That's fine. Right? And then look down at your hip points for a moment. These two bony parts at the front, square them with the front of your mat. When you have that, hold that, push your thigh and your foot together, hold the hips square, and then take the knee as wide as it'll go without letting your hips shift position. Right? Then lift your chest up and reach your arms up alongside your ears for a moment. Okay? Sides of the waist lengthen out. Think about picking the sides of your rib cage up as high as you can away from your pelvis. Roll your outer arms to the front of your mat and reach them up. Good. And then this is enough. You're going to bring your hands back down to your hips. Keep your right leg like it is. Keep your left hand on your hip. Reach down with your right hand. Hook your right big toe. You can keep your knee bent, or you can straighten it all the way out, and you're going to send your right foot at a 45-degree angle towards the corner of your mat. And then again, just like you just did in tree, the hips are going to stay square and forward. From the hip joint, you'll take the leg to the side, standing leg really straight. Lift up through the thigh, drive the heel down, and like I was pressing into your upper back, lift your sternum up, and now pay attention to your collarbones, widen them out. Good. Right? And then you're just going to release it. Let go of the foot, bring your feet together, and bring your hands back down to your hips. Nothing fancy on that one today. All right, other side. So shift into your right foot. Pick your left foot up. Bring it to the inner thigh. Okay, it can be the inner calf again if you did on the other side. Now look down. Hips level from left to right, away from the floor, and then square to the front of your mat. When you're sure you have that, foot and thigh hug together, and then take the knee as wide as it'll go. Good. Right, and then pay attention. Right heel presses, right thigh activates, chest up. Now reach your arms up as well. Good. Wrap your outer arms forward so you feel your neck widen out. Hold on to that, and like you were starting your fingertips at the base of the sides of your rib cage, reach the sides of your ribs up towards your fingertips for length. Really nice. Good. Right. And then from here, bring your right hand back down to your hip. With your left hand, hook your left big toe. You're either going to just keep the knee bent, foot reaches down to the floor, or straighten the leg out some, sending it to the side. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. Standing leg, really engage. Heel presses, thigh lifts and pushes back, tailbone down. Inner left thigh, it rolls up to the ceiling, taking the hip under you. Collarbones wide like I was pressing into your upper back. And then Keep the collarbones widening. Good. All right, then from here, let go of your left foot, bring both hands back down to your hips, and pause. You can lower it all the way. Oh, that was such a nice exit, Nicole. Join your hands together. Here we go. We'll do a sun salute through to down dog. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana fold. Inhale, look forward, chest wide. Exhale, through a vinyasa to down dog. If you don't need one, you can just step back into downward facing. Okay, here we go. Coup de grace. So walk your feet just a little closer to your hands so you're not hanging off the back of your mat. Separate them to the edges of your mat, and then walk your hands back to meet your feet. Same fold you kind of did at the beginning. So feet, mat's distance, bend your knees until your chest moves all the way through your inner thighs, and it can be a big bend. You're going to reach your right arm through the center of your legs, turn your chest to the left, reach your left arm behind your back, and you're going to bind around your right thigh. Okay. Once you have that, you can either grab the left wrist with your right hand or your fingertips. Okay. Pull your sternum towards your mat, straighten your left leg out any amount, and then roll your chest open to the left. Now, more than anything, you're paying attention to your left shoulder. You're hugging it into the inner thigh. Get that collarbone to be wide. Good. Right, now, it's perfectly fine to stay here. Nicole's going to stay here. Janice is going to go on. So you'll look down. Move your left foot to the midline of your mat. Come up onto your right toes. When you feel balanced, stand yourself all the way up. Okay. Once you stand up, start with the standing leg first. Press the heel, engage the thigh so that your quadricep is working. Right, now roll your right hip under you, widen your collarbones, and push your upper back into your chest like my hand was there. Now you're going to hold all of that, and just like you did, you're in that happy baby thing you did at the beginning, you're going to hold everything as it is, slowly start to straighten the right leg any amount. Okay, if it gets stuck, it won't go all the way straight, you pause. Good, hold your eyes still. Very, very nice. Good, so it's just like bound triangle pose. Sides of the waist should feel even. And then slowly bend your right knee, fold yourself forward and set your foot all the way down. Okay, widen your feet back to the edges of your mat, undo this side, grab your elbows and hang forward for a moment. Just pause. So there's this desire to get the top leg really straight first. It's not the important part. That takes time. I can't straighten my top leg. More important to engage the entire lower body, to get the sides of your torso to feel even, and to keep your chest wide than the leg being straight. That comes way down the road. All right, side two, here we go. So this time, bend your knees, chest through your inner thighs, reach your left arm through, right arm behind your back, and bind it. Good. Okay, once you're there, start to straighten your right leg out, roll your chest to the right, squeeze the back of your shoulder and the inner thigh together. And if you're staying in the fold, you're just looking for length in the front of your torso. And then steady breath. If you're going on, look down, move your right foot into the midline, come up on your left toes, and start to stand all the way up. Okay, if you get to a point where the standing leg won't even straighten or you can't lean all the way back, you just pause there. Okay, if you're all the way up, right heel presses down, lift the right kneecap up. Good. Drop your tailbone, drop your left hip, and roll it underneath of you. Now lean your upper back into your chest to widen your collarbones. Then you go very slowly. You just start to straighten the leg out. Good. That little bit of a crunch in the right side waist will drop your left hip again. And then hold your eyes still. It really helps. If you fall in and out, just know you can let go of the bind and fall out, and then it makes it a lot less scary. And then slowly, you'll start to undo it. Fold forward. Nice graceful dismount. Unbind. Grab your elbows. Hang forward again. Just pause. Good. So that was the full thing. It doesn't happen right away. It takes a long time. And frankly, it's a really big hamstring opener. So for me, it might never happen. I might not ever be able to straighten that leg. And that's okay. I'm all right with that. So you should be too. All right, let go of your arms. Heel toe your feet back to hip distance. We'll just do one twist to let go of all of that. So inhale, pull your chest forward. And then exhale, walk forward into downward facing dog. Right, without lifting your leg, just bring your right foot all the way through to your hands. Lower your left knee down to the mat into a lunge. Inhale, sweep your arms up alongside your ears. And then exhale, join your hands together at your heart and twist to the right. Loop your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Okay, once you're there, plant your right foot evenly into the mat. Spread through your back toes. Give your thighs a little hug together. and then turn your chest open, pulling your sternum forward. That same idea, that whole thing. The upper back moves in, so you have a nice long spine. Very pretty. And then bring your hands down to the mat. Either step back into downward facing dog or do a full vinyasa. Right, last standing pose. Well, it's kneeling. Left foot forward, right knee drop it. Inhale, crescent pose, well, low lunge, frankly. And then exhale, hands to your heart, twist to the left. Good. So as long as your back toes are reaching away from you like up dog, your left knee stays facing straight ahead. You can hug your thighs together from there. And then upper back moves in. That same idea, trying to get both collarbones broad. And just hold your gaze steady, breathe smoothly. And then bring your hands down to the mat, step back into dog or take a full vinyasa. And so we'll do different back bends today, some with your arms in the same direction they've been going. So inhale, glide forward into plank. Exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Take an inhale, and then exhale all the way down to the mat. Okay, uncurl your toes and bring your arms alongside of your body first. Okay, you're going to keep the tops of your hands planted strongly into the floor. And on an inhale, you'll lift your legs, your chest, and your head all up off of the mat for Shalabhasana. Okay, roll your inner thighs up to the ceiling. Nicole, lift your legs. There we go. Spread through your toes. She was hoping they were staying on the ground. Keep your hands pressing to lift your shoulder heads and widen your collarbones like we've been doing. Okay, neck long. So place your gaze wherever it feels like your neck is an extension of your upper back. And then lower yourself all the way down and let it go. You can turn your head to the side if you like, or you can keep your forehead on the floor. So we're going to do Dhanurasana just a couple of times. So from here, you're going to bend your knees, reach back, grab the outer edges of your feet. Right, you'll start with your knees and feet together. If that's too much on your low back, you can have your knees and feet hip distance apart. And then roll your inner thighs to the ceiling. Keep your hip points glued to the floor. Start by kicking your shins back to lift your chest. And then when your legs won't do any more of the work, work your upper back like we've been doing to lift your chest up. Good. Spread through your toes. Think inner thighs to the ceiling, upper back into the chest, and then neck long. Take one more breath. And then exhale, lower yourself down. You can let go of your feet, turn your head the other way. And this next one, you're going to come in, we're going to do the same thing, but at the end of it, you'll go all the way into upward facing dog instead of lowering down. And so reach back, grab your feet again. Inner thighs to the ceiling, hips stay grounded, kick your shins back, widen your collarbones. When you're up, work the upper back, lift your chest higher, neck long, keep breathing. Spread through your toes. Now your upper back and your upper body, frankly, are all in the correct position, so hold on to that. And on your next inhale, straighten your legs, put your hands under your elbows, and straighten your arms into up dog. Good. Just take 2 breaths once you're there. Shoulder heads back and wide, tailbone to your heels, and exhale, roll back, downward facing dog. All right, now cool down time. Look forward. Hop all the way through to seated. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Right. Set up into Dandasana. So just because we're going from one back bend into something that's a pretty deep forward fold, have your feet mat distance apart or hip distance apart, depending. Right. And then sit up tall. Widen your collarbones. Inhale, reach your arms up alongside your ears. And then exhale, hinge at your hips and fold forward into Paschimottanasana. Once you're halfway down, inhale, chest forward again, and then exhale, fold. We did a lot of hamstring opening, so it probably feels pretty good, but have it be a little more mellow, seeing as you just went from a back bend to a forward fold. Right, sit bones into the mat, heels press as much as the tops of your thighs, and collarbones wide. You can let your neck relax, though. And soft, even breath. You don't have to guide it particularly, but still have it be fluid. And then inhale, sit yourself all the way up. From here, you're going to set up into double pigeon. So if you don't do double pigeon, you're going to do Sukhasana, just cross legs, right shin in front of the left. And if you do double pigeon, ankle over knee, knee under ankle with your ankles very flexed. And then fold forward when you're ready. If it's enough just to sit up tall, you're always welcome to do that too. If you like folding, you can go for it. And then nothing particular here, just hold still as much as you can. And pay attention to what happens inside of your mind. Sometimes it tends to wander, especially at the end. But you have an opening in your hip, which is a sensation that you can hold your attention on. And it's not that you're holding your attention wishing it would go away. You're just observing. You can use your breath to soften into the pose a little more. That'll keep you here. And walk yourself back up and change legs. If you're doing Sukhasana, just put the left shin in front now. If you're doing double pigeon, left ankle on top. And keep your feet engaged and fold forward again. Once you're in, become as still as you can be physically. And once you're still physically, you watch what happens inside of your mind. If it's racing all over the place, pay attention to part of your breath, the effort in your hip, something that keeps you on your mat for just a little bit longer. And press yourself all the way back up. Lie down on your back and hug your knees in. I like things that come all the way back around, so you're just going to do the same pose you started with. Happy baby, not the full thing, but just a happy baby. So grab your feet, pull your knees down. You can rock side to side, forward to back. You can round your back, you can flatten it, whatever you like, whatever you feel like you need here at the end before you go into Shavasana and relax fully. And then hug your knees into your chest. And stretch your legs out in front of you. Set up into Shavasana. Feet wider than your hips, arms a little wider than your shoulders, palms up, and eyes closed. So it's not easy to try these poses. It's not easy to be patient and to do all that. But you should be proud that you get on your mat and that you try new things and that you try things that you're maybe not perfect at the first time. It's really about learning them much more than it is about accomplishing them like they look in a picture. So be really proud that you did that.